One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only Manso can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Yes, sir. We're up in the building, guys. Much love and respect to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you guys are from. Much love and respect. We got our coffee, but it is not Black Rifle Coffee Company yet. So, guys, we're going to be getting our sponsorship, the channel sponsorship. We're working it. Do you guys see how I'm calling it out every single day? Black Rifle Coffee Company. I'm ready for you. Anyways, much love to everybody. We've got an interesting show today. As you guys see that I have it labeled Trump Trial, Cable News Divided America. Now, we have a really interesting article on this, and I thought that I would share this with you guys. You know, here's the honest truth is I love when there is not a lot going on in the news for the motorcycle scene, the club scene, all of that stuff. That's actually when we're winning the most. And so anytime there isn't any news coverage within the biker news and all of that stuff, that's when I will come in and do something like this and talk about world news and stuff like that. Because especially I say that us bikers are very involved in whether it be politics, whether it be, just the world itself. I think it's very smart of us to keep in tune with what's going on in the rest of the world and within at least the United States. So I really try to focus and pinpoint United States because that is what we deal with, right? For the majority, the demographics here are American. And so, yeah, I usually like to cover what's going on in America. So what's good with everybody? I see you guys up in the building. Much love and respect to everybody. Dark Horse, I appreciate you. Steve, guys, everybody, we had an insane breakfast club. That's what I call people that show up to the show before it's even been live. Like, we're not live. It's a countdown of when we're going to go live. And every morning since I go live at 8 a.m. PST, you guys can depend on me. I'm never even a second late. So you guys can see that I'm there 30 minutes prior and you guys type in the chat. I call you guys the Breakfast Club. It's the best. Steve Easy says, woke up at 4 a.m. with a banging toothache, so I decided it's whiskey for breakfast. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Shit, where's my buttons? I need the horn, man. Damn it. I wish I have my whole setup right now. And so also, I'm a little messy right now, guys. As you guys can see, BD has always said, I'm a biker, not a choir boy. But I am getting a haircut and shave all that today. So yeah, I'll be looking a little bit more sharp tomorrow. So I apologize for me looking like a wreck right now. Good afternoon, Tats. Thank you for being here. Much love. Also, guys, what I always do is anybody that donates to the show, I always give you guys a shout out. And I've actually had a couple of people say, I don't need you to shout me out. Don't do it. And I had that happen this morning. Tats, first of all, she donated $10 yesterday while I was off stream. and right after the show. And then, believe it or not, Hardwire, he sent me 20 on Cash App, and he was like, dude, you don't need to shout me out. That's not what I did it for. And I know that you guys don't do it for that, but I keep my word. If I tell you guys that this is the incentive, then I will always hold my end of the bargain. So I really appreciate you guys for supporting the show like you guys have. You know, it means a huge deal for me, as you guys know, I've been demonetized and don't get my monetization back. I don't even get the chance to get my monetization back until July 3rd. And that's not promised. You know what I mean? So I really hope that I can get back into the YouTube partner program. America first. That's right, Steve. You already know. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Steve. Dude, that's absolutely a fact, Dean. I'm a mix so I can legally drink anytime. Look, hey, there's nothing wrong with it, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Whiskey is a part of those MC annual breakfasts, dude. Exactly. Much love and respect, Brother Mike. Hey, no, much love and respect to you. I really appreciate you guys showing the amount of love that you guys have. You know, I'm going to be very honest. Ever since I parted ways and have done my own show, you guys have shown an immense amount of love. And believe it or not, my numbers from you guys are way up. You know what I mean? It shows that people actually dig what we do over here at Insane Wheels. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very blessed with you guys. Before we get into it, before we hop into the actual article and we start reading, please make sure you guys are liking the video, guys. I'm going to go ahead and say this real quick. Liking the video is like handing a creator $5 for free. As you guys know, it's free to like a video, and it's the most important metric on YouTube. It's the most important. If you hit that, it shows that we are doing something right to YouTube, and they push us into the algorithm. Commenting is obviously a huge engagement spike. That is also something that's probably the second most important thing. If not, you know, sharing is like word of mouth on the street, but on the internet, and it's very vital when people share our stuff. So also make sure you guys are following my Instagram right there at Ball Valve TV. That's where I post all my stuff, all the shows and stuff like that behind the scenes. And also when I present, like, hey, this is the next episode, I always show it on my Instagram first. That's where it all goes. And so, yeah, follow me over there, you guys. Appreciate you. All right. So real quick, let's get over to you guys and see what's going on. Okay. So Hardwire says, I was over on BD's show trying to get everyone to come over here. Hey, I appreciate. I didn't even know he was live, to be honest. I swear, like I'm so focused on me that I'm focused because I took the 8 a.m. Time, you know, slot, and that's for me on the West Coast. It's 8 a.m. for me, and so I always stick to that. Like whether someone else is live or what, I don't care. Like I don't care if someone else is live in the same time, because naturally, I already know that the right people are going to be here anyways that want to watch. Steve says, sending love from the Beast Coast to the West Coast and Midwest brothers and sisters. That's right. Shout out to everybody in the United States, man. Like everybody that's living it, you know. Road Rage says, I'm going to need to throw my Cash App out there for bail money after this day at work. Someone made a $317,000 oopsie yesterday, and I'm trying to fix their mistake. Holy shit, dude. Road Rage, I swear you are like the guy that is constantly putting out fires. You know what I mean? I bet you that's the tech world. I mean, I know you're in the tech world, and I mean, you are up there, and you probably deal with some serious shit, just like you just said. You're dealing with a $317,000 oopsie. That's incredible, dude. Like, that's insane. But hey, man, we all got our talents and skills, and that's awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and show you guys what I found in the news. You know, I did label this. Remember, guys, I labeled this Trump trial, cable news divides America. And then this article, it says cable news coverage of Trump trial reflects a U.S. divided. So let's go ahead and run into this real quick. Let's see what they've got to say. All right, so obviously there's a picture of him, you know, whatever. This is something in 2016, so it's just some random picture of him. Oh, wait, no, April 19th, 2024. My apologies. But the, you know, they just talk about, you know, that he falsified business records to conceal money, paid silence to a porn star, Stormy Daniels, in 2016. So this whole trial is an ordeal that's been, the alleged was in 2016. And so now let's go ahead and get into this. By Helen Koster and Kanishka Singh. So New York Reuters, I don't know what that means. I'm going to be very honest. When Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's hush money trial began in a Manhattan courthouse on Monday, cable TV news coverage of the case was divided as America itself. All right, very interesting. A Reuters review of 2.5 hours of daytime coverage showed the distinctly partisan approaches of the Fox News Channel and MSNBC News to the trial taking place in the midst of an election campaign pitting the former president against the Democratic President Joe Biden. Fox News, which is the country's most watched cable television network. I did not know that, by the way. I would have totally assumed it was some liberal, owned whatever. I definitely didn't think it was Fox News that was the number one, but hey, I'm going to say that's pretty cool. It's the most watched cable television network and leans Republican. As we all know, we know they're a conservative area over there. Gave significantly more airtime to the other national news, including protests on the U.S. college campuses against the war in Gaza. Okay, we already know that this is going to get controversial really quick when we start talking about wars that are actively happening. And this is going to be, I can tell that there's going to be a lot of controversy here. Liberal-leaning network MSNBC, a home for anti-Trump voices, focused solely on the trial. They only focused solely on the trial. All right. The split-screen-like coverage reflects a U.S. cable news ecosystem that creates alternative realities for viewers, reaffirming existing beliefs, say U.S. journalism experts. Cameras are not allowed in the courtroom, forcing Americans to rely on media outlets for news of what is unfolding out to the public view, including cable news channels Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN. All right, real quick. Do you guys believe that it's okay for only the mainstream media to get the opportunity to film somebody that's on trial that everyone's watching? Do we allow the mainstream media to take full control of that, and then they obviously get to control the narrative? I really don't think it's doing anybody a service or a justice by doing that. I think you should be able to have someone in there that is an independent that wants to record it, let's just say. I don't see anything wrong with that personally. And I wonder what you guys think about it in the chat. So before we dive back into that, let's see what you guys are saying already. Steve says Trump should just say, I didn't do nothing, and blame racism, climate change, and the Nazis for everything. Look, I've watched the left use everything in the book that, aside from the actual problem, they'll name every other thing to get around it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, okay. Reuters is a news reporter. Thank you, Frank. Man, what would I do without you guys? Seriously, you guys, I learn something new every day. So Dean says the fucking dirty ass judge is thinking about handcuffing my president Trump for going against the gag order as we speak. Yes, it is actively happening as we speak. Steve says the liberal news organizations are in the toilet with the numbers, especially since they don't cover anything besides Trump and the white nationalists. Yeah, they've wasted a lot of their time on bullshit. You know what I mean? Let's just call it like it is. Bullshit, and it's always this fake narrative that they're trying to spin on Trump, in my opinion. And I'm not some huge hardcore Trump advocate, because I'm not. But I do believe what is fair. And what has been happening to Trump is way obviously not fair compared to let's just say the left gets treated, right? Steve says, I personally don't trust any mainstream media from either side. We could definitely use an independent source. And I think that does a service to the American people by allowing that to happen. For them to prevent any independence to record or be in the courtroom or whatever, I think is bullshit. I think that's a power play. I think that's a media power play. I don't think that has anything to do with the trial. Obviously, it has to do with the media narrative that they can spin. All right. So Dwayne says everyone should have a right to film or record public hearings. I 100% agree. And that's why I even asked you guys that question in the first place. Hardwire says, I was so disgusted today from watching the news. How can anyone chant death to America and not get thrown out on their ass is beyond me. It's so crazy. People say, oh, we don't have freedom here, blah, blah, blah. You go do that shit in any other country, you know what I mean? Like the government will grab your ass from a hedge and handle you. You know what I mean? You're not allowed to talk out against the government from most countries. You can't just talk shit about them. And I mean, look, I'm glad that we can talk shit, but because of that, you're going to have idiots like this that go the extremist route and really become a radical. And anybody that's chanting death to America in America is, first of all, retarded. You know what I mean? That to me is an oxymoron. You know what I mean? But I really do think that people are becoming more and more and more radicalized. It's sad. Brian says the media is like Neapolitan ice cream. You got your right, left, and centrist view. Try all of them and come to your own conclusions. And this is something that I was taught in high school in my debate, when I was debating when I was a kid or, young adult, whatever, I was debating, and the way that they would force me to debate is my teacher would go, okay, look, we know you're a conservative at heart, but now you're going to argue. You're going to argue for the liberal side now. And so I was like, why would I do that? You know what I mean? Why would I argue for something that I don't believe in? But that's what makes you a good debater, is being able to look at both sides and have both angles. If you can debate each side, then you are a winner. You know what you're talking about. And I learned that very young. And I'm very glad that I did, because I get my news sources not from one place. You know what I mean? If it's something serious, I'll get every angle that there is and come to my conclusion about it. Sorry for the foul words, but in my opinion, that is wrong. Dude, you don't have to worry about bad words over here on the Insane Wheels channel. Like I'm somebody you can cuss in the chat as long as you guys are doing, you get fancy with your lettering and stuff like that. You don't actually say the word. But see, as a content creator, we are actually allowed to curse on YouTube. I'm not really sure why other creators are scared of cussing. I mean, as long as you're not constantly repeating yourself 20, 30 times, and even if you did, you probably still wouldn't get slapped on the wrist. You know what I mean? They're very liberal on YouTube. They're very liberal about people cussing on the content side. For the chat side, if you actually cuss like that too much, they will ban you because it's straight evidence that you said that, SNS says every single person should have the ability to, whenever and however they wish. I'm sick of the government and trying to tread on our God-given rights. Absolutely. I agree with you, SNS. Steve says it's hard to be objective these days when one side is obviously in control of the justice system. You are absolutely fucking right, Steve. You know what I mean? There's nothing more accurate than what you just said right there. It's definitely controlled by the left, and then that's the way it's going to be. They're the ones that are paying the bill. You know what I mean? Follow the money. It will always tell you what narrative it is. If you just follow the money, whoever paid for it, it's that narrative. That's it. Simple. Hardwire says it's really sad when loving your country and being a patriot is considered radical now. Insane. And that's really sad, to be honest. You would think that would be an honorable thing. You would think that that's something that is commendable, something that most people, if you did that, like I look at it like I don't want to go to war. I wouldn't want to fight these. And so if I don't want to do it and you've done it, All I can do is show respect to that because that's hardcore shit. Not ever, dude. Going to war and loving your country or being a patriot, whatever, just having love for your country in general is, it's sad that is looked as a radical viewpoint because anybody, look, there are so many different countries where they love their country, dude. Like, there's nothing wrong with loving your country and hating your government. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's how I am. I love my country and I hate my government. Oh, gotta love that. Boop. Look, now we're on here. We're going to go ahead and get that for you guys. Boom. You know what I mean? We're getting crazy with it. High school was that 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, man. I graduated high school. I walked in high school. Well, I guess, I graduated in 2013. So 11 years ago. You know what I mean? Pretty crazy. Ghost Eagle says, I cuss all the time. All it means I am honest and hide nothing. And that's how I truly believe too, Ghost Eagle, is that's how I take my stance when I start talking and stuff like that. I'm just like, look, I'm a normal human being. I'm going to cuss. I'm going to do this stuff, but it's honest. You know what I mean? I'm very transparent with you guys and I'm very vigilant with what I do. And just because I cuss doesn't make me a terrible person or whatever. It shows that I'm actually willing to be open with you guys. And that's how I look at it. But whatever's clever. So we're about to get back into the story here in a second. We got Pitbull that says it's weird that in the 90s, everything was good and has swearing in it on TV shows. But then in the 2000s, all changed, just like freedom of speech, government are in the woke world. And they very much are, dude. They very much are. The FCC is a very heavily regulated organization. And they really do control that kind of stuff. Now, when the internet came out with YouTube and all this stuff like that, obviously that's when it changed the game because you can actually curse on these websites and not be actually, all of a sudden your show gets taken down because you cursed once or twice, I use the word fuck like a comma, dude. Yeah, hey, dude, that's the way it goes. I didn't fight for my government. I fought for the people and their rights and for each and every one of us to be free. And that's exactly what the mentality is for most of these military men that I have met anyways. That's exactly their sentiment right there. I don't really know any person that ever fought for war or fought for the government. I've never heard that. I've always heard it was for the people. Harry says, people often forget the freedoms we have here in the United States and the freedoms we would never fly in other countries. Exactly what I was getting at earlier. More folks should be thankful they are American. Yes, they should. And I truly believe this. If you have not visited a third world country, do it. Do it. Like, seriously, I have visited a third world country, for instance, and being involved in favelas and stuff like that, where, it's the poor of the poor, dude. They don't have running water, no toilets, it's kind of crazy. And you really get to appreciate where you live. You know what I mean? You get to appreciate, like, wow, like I live a pampered ass life compared, but you got to be honest with yourself too. Our country gave up on those who fought for a country, which is true. Once our usefulness ended, so did our time. Yes, they use you guys, as pawns like that to do what they need to do. And then as soon as you're out, they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck while you're in there, And that's the sad part. And that's anybody that stands up and wants to protect this country and the people. How could you not care and love for them? Especially from the government's perspective. They're the ones protecting your fucking pampered ass. Steve says, I was a screw up and went to prison, so I have a ton of respect for all those who have served. And yeah, you've got a different perspective of respect for sure, Steve, because obviously prison is going to change that dynamic. And I always say, don't waste your time, guys. Don't go to prison. Don't go to jail. It's a huge waste of time. I do not think it's a cool thing to do. I do not advocate it, whatever, you know what I mean? But it does teach you a lot, you know what I mean? It's very, very, it's militant, it's very strict, and it's all based off of respect. Boom, you know what I mean? And hey, does that sound similar to a culture that we live and breathe? Yeah, it does. So SNS says they need to put under the bus. They need to be put under the bus. Two, I might not agree with what is being put out, but I don't have to watch or listen, and that's very true. I think more people, if you don't support it, don't watch it. You know what I mean? Ghost Eagle says the difference between a soldier and a warrior: a soldier fights for those who tells him to, a warrior fights for those who depend on him. Wow, that was very, very well said, dude. Very well said, Ghost Eagle. Steve says, I went to a third world country. Germany and Canada were asked backwards. I'm sure that I've never been to either. I've never been to Germany or Canada. I do plan, believe it or not, I've got friends in both Germany and in Canada, and I really want to go and do that. For instance, I'm going to go visit Sven in the Black Forest in Germany. That's something that I really want to do. And same thing with Canada. I have a whole bunch of you guys that are from Canada that watch this show right here. It's amazing how many Canadians we actually have on this show. I visited a lot of third world countries: New York, New Jersey, San Francisco. Totally, dude. Totally. Dude, you're absolutely. Then I've visited multiple third world countries then. Yes, I might not agree with someone. Yeah, exactly. You just, you try to see the other side, and that's what makes you better in that regard. Hardwire says, I believe in freedom and in America and everything it stands for. I respect all that died to protect our right, or that right. But what a lot of them are doing now and chanting death to America are traitors. They are 1,000% traitors. Anybody that does that is 1,000% a traitor. 2 Iraq deployments here. And yes, we believe we fight for the people. Exactly, bro. Much love and respect for you, Dark Horse, and everybody else that has served for this country. Let me be the first one to tell you, I appreciate you guys that have put in your time and did that. You know what I mean? It's a huge commendable thing to serve for your country. And I feel honored for every person that did that for us. Ghost Eagle says, I've been on to both places. They have some killer roads to ride. That's what I've heard. Hanover is nice. Well, it's something that I've got to visit eventually. So let's go ahead and dive back into this, where, it's not a huge article, but we do need to get reading. Okay, so we left off on that they are not allowed to have any cameras in the courtroom aside from Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN. Trump has pleaded not guilty to falsifying business records to cover up a $130,000 payment to porn star Stormy Daniels in 2016 to silence her about a sexual encounter she says they had, and which he denies. Much is at stake. Some public opinion polls suggest that some voters may choose not to vote for Trump if he is convicted. Honestly, I think that if he were to get convicted, he'd probably get even more votes. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I think the American people see right through this crap. For the majority, not the radicals. That's just the way of the road. So reaffirming existing ideologies. I don't know why that's there, but let's go ahead and continue on. What people watch on cable news reaffirms their ideologies. Stephanie Edgerly, professor of journalism at Northwestern University's Medill School of Journalism, told Reuters. So, in quotes, we start to see that having really powerful effects on how they see the world, what they think is right and wrong, and who they're going to vote for, and how favorable or unfavorable they view presidential candidates, said Edgerly, who studies news audiences. MSNBC's top anchor, Rachel Maddow, I think one of those, who was inside the courthouse during opening statements, described Trump as annoyed and resigned, maybe angry. So, anybody that's in a courthouse is not stoked. And even if I did carry a smile, then they would say how heartless I was because I was smiling in court. How could you smile at a time like this? How could you do that? You know what I mean? Like, you can't fucking win. He's in quotes, he seems like a man who is miserable to be here, she said on the air later outside the courthouse. Fox News senior correspondent Eric Shawn had a different view of Trump's demeanor, saying the former president had sat quietly at the defense table during proceedings. I don't know what's wrong with that. You know what I mean? I think Fox News is accurate here by just sitting there waiting. You know, yeah, you're going to be fucking annoyed. It's probably going to be readable like, hey, I don't want to be here, but I am because I'm forced and I'm going to do this in good faith. Whatever, you know, it's brutal. The ticker at the bottom of the MSNBC screen covered nearly every trial development as a breaking news flash. Of course he did. Of course he did, because it is content for them. It's content for them, and it's something that they know that the radicals are going to watch, and that's where their fan base or what they rely on for viewership. Let's be real. Let's be real about this shit. And this is exactly why I got demonetized, is because I was talking exactly about these companies, these media outlets that do this, and I cannot stand here and just allow this to be trampled on without me saying anything. I wouldn't have a fucking spine if I didn't say anything. I have to. And a lot of this is just lies and manipulation to make money. Am I wrong? Time to hit the vape real quick. So MSNBC repeatedly flashed a quote from the prosecution saying it was election fraud, pure and simple, and another from the defense saying nothing wrong with trying to influence an election. Correct. You know, I guess that influencing an election is every bit of propaganda. You know, when presidents or candidates go out on campaigns, those are trying to influence the election. So, yeah, I really don't see the wrongness in trying to influence an election when you're trying to win an election. You know what I mean? In contrast, the hour-long Fox program, the Faulkner Focus, spent less than 10 minutes on the trial, focusing in part of potential flaws in the prosecution's case. During the Fox show, Outnumbered, co-host and former Trump White House press secretary Kayleigh McEnany told a roundtable of panelists that her former boss looked strong and confident, and that Democrats were misguided in thinking the case would mire Trump in a negative coverage. Of the two Fox legal analysts who spoke on the air, one was critical of the prosecution's efforts, and other described the case as the weaponization of the criminal legal system. And I really do believe that to be a very true fact. Weaponizing of the criminal legal system. I can't argue that. Asked for comment on their coverage, a Fox News spokesperson said that the network's news gathering teams had been reporting on all facets of Trump's hush money trial. Representatives for MSNBC did not respond to a request for comment. So now we've got split cable. And before we get into this, I'm going to really quickly see what you guys are saying, because this is a lot and I'm trying to read as fast as I can and also get to you guys and get to your guys' opinions and everything that you've got to say. Let's go ahead and let's go back, because I always make sure that, okay, we left off up there. Ghost Eagle says, if you do not stand behind our warrior soldiers, make sure you stand in front of them. Very well said. Look at how much Clinton paid Monica. Yep, it's true. It's very true. Pitbull says, if you don't agree, just be civil. But if anyone threatens myself or my family, friends, doesn't matter what race you are, but I repeat, everyone. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. You're supposed to pay a whore, am I right? You pay her to leave. Yeah, you go, hey, take this and get the fuck out of my house. Don't vote for Trump, none whatsoever. Hey, that's the way people are. You know, that's okay. I'm not sitting here saying you need to vote one way or the other. I'm just reporting the facts, by the way. Rachel Maddow is a complete tool, just like all the libtard reporters. Well, feels bad. How can you sleep in court? Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that when you've been to court so many damn times, I think you just don't give a fuck anymore. Hardwire says, I do not care a whole lot for Trump as a person, but he did a good job, and that is what is important. Policies is what's important, guys. It's not the person. You don't need to love the personality of the president, but you can acknowledge when something or a policy is good for the country and for us as a people. Ghost Eagle says they are not going after Trump for say. They are going after us as well. They're going after our country. Yes, that's exactly it. GBM, Steve says, GBM, I could. It takes forever and it's pretty boring most of the time. Believe me, I have plenty of experience. Yeah, and exactly kind of like how I said. You've been in court so many times. You're at the top of the chain. When you're at the top of the chain of anything, whether it's a business, whether it's the president of the United States, which is the top of the top, billionaire, millionaire, whatever it is, you're going to have people that are trying to constantly knock you off the top. And so when that happens, this is natural. This is what happens with entire societies back hundreds of years ago, thousands and all that. I don't know, man. Like I'd imagine going to court that much, you just go, fuck it, dude. I've been here so many times. It's, people are constantly coming after me. Who cares? People, at the end of the day, every vote is rigged, and it's billionaires that really run the country. With action, there's a reaction. That's right. So every action, there's a reaction. So no matter what happens, the government looks after itself. They will always look after themselves because they are the priority in their eyes. Trump was the worst president ever. Can you back up your claim of why he was the worst president ever, GBM? I'm not going to sit here and debate. I'm just asking questions. SNS says, hit one for me. Thanks in advance. Hardwire, everything you do is influencing, campaigning, and what was trying to bury the Hunter laptop story. All campaign fighting. That's how it always goes. They fight to win. Absolutely. GBM opinions vary, and that's totally okay. I personally think it was a great divider. Obama. It was a great divider with a great divider, Obama. But we all get to have an opinion. That's why this country is so great, and that is a fact. I heard that Russia is fucking with the election. There's outside influence no matter what. We're the top of the chain for all of the countries. And naturally, you're going to have multiple, not just Russia, you're going to have multiple countries coming after us in our election. Absolutely. The world is watching. The whole world is watching what's going down. They always have, because we are the top of the chain. Exactly. That will probably get pushed again soon. Ghost Eagle, why did they not go after Clinton for the things he did? He was impeached several times himself. Too bad, so sad. That's the way it goes. You pick your left or your right, and you get treated a certain way. I'm Danish. Trump didn't do anything that was good, not for America. Steve says, I have to disagree. My life was way better before Biden became president. We had more money and way less and less illegal invaders. I agree with that statement, Steve. No president is perfect. They are humans, and they all are imperfect. It's a really shitty job. It's a job that I would not want to take, Hardwire. Honestly, I wouldn't want that. I slept in court when I was facing 20 years plus time added for contempt. It is easy. I would say that, especially for how long court cases last and how long you've got to be in the courtroom, yeah, you might fall asleep, dude. It's extremely slow. It's extremely just repetitive and just monotoned. I hate it, dude. Any type of court just sucks. The only thing that you Americans got was cheap gasoline and added $8 trillion to your debt. And yeah, we definitely we don't really have cheap gasoline compared to the rest of the world, to be honest. We are very, very expensive with gasoline. I got you, Lyconics. He was saying that he was on his other account. No worries. I appreciate you, my man. Harry says, why was Biden not arrested for sexual assault on numerous occasions? Very good question. Very good question. Who is the Danish PM or president again? Oh, wait, sorry, we don't give a fuck. Maybe worry about your own country, man. Hey, that's a fair point too, Steve. That's a fair point. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into this. A 2022 study published by the National Academy of Sciences that analyzed 10 years of cable television news found a growing partisan gap, particularly after the 2016 election that Trump won, as networks like Fox News and MSNBC shifted to the right and left of the political spectrum, respectively, especially in their primetime programming, which is very true. 2016 did change that in that sense. Absolutely, it did. Separate research from last year by University of California, Berkeley, political scientist David Brookman and Berkeley alumnus Joshua Kalla of Yale University found that many Americans were in partisan echo chambers where they only consume television news that reinforce their existing political and social biases. And in quotes, most people who tune into Fox lean to the right, but Fox draws them further to the right. The authors wrote, likewise, MSNBC is pulling those to the left further left. Exactly. Okay, I was just going to correct that if they didn't say it. Yes, it's happening on both sides. I can absolutely say that with full transparency, that it's happening on both sides, where the left is getting more left and drawing more left with the mainstream media on the left side, and on the right side, it's happening exactly the same way as well. And neither side almost ever watches the other. And that's very true. And this is why I do exactly what I just said. If I hear one, let's just say I hear something from Fox about Trump, I'm going to go to a liberal, channel or whatever. I'm going to go to a liberal news media coverage to get their side so I can kind of get the middle. But not many people do that anymore. The Fox News spokesperson pointed to data that Nielsen MRI Fusion showing the network has the most politically diverse audience in cable news, with more Democrats, Republicans, and independents watching Fox News than any other cable news network. When the court wrapped up for the day, Trump came out to speak to the media, calling the case unfair and denying wrongdoing. MSNBC carried his remarks live for a few minutes before cutting him off, with anchor Andrea Mitchell saying the former president was trying to minimize the case against him. In quotes, "This has nothing to do with the federal government," Mitchell added, responding to Trump's claim that legal cases against him were being driven by the Biden administration. The hush money case is being prosecuted by the Manhattan District Attorney. The federal government is not involved. All right, so that is the end of the conversation right there. So we're obviously going to hop into what you guys have to say, and then, of course, we're going to do our closeout. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so Corey is my personal account. What's up, everyone? Okay, cool, man. I appreciate you for being on both accounts. You know what I mean? I appreciate the double subscription. Road Rage says, picking between the two-party candidates forced on us every 4 years is like trying to pick a turd by the less shitty end. Where's my buttons? Bam, 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 bam. I need my horns and shit, man, for that. Very well said. Very well said. Every time I see a porta potty, I see the American voting booth. Damn, dude. Absolutely. It is. But voting for an independent is a waste, in my opinion. It very much is. It's a wasted vote. In my opinion, people are going to argue that all day long. It's a wasted vote because you have the majority on the left, the majority on the right, whatever. You're not going to have independents. You're not going to have that actually going to win. Same thing with libertarians, all these, different, parties. That you have two-party system, and that's just the way it is. Of course, that's exactly what the forefathers were scared of, is a two-party system, and that's exactly what happened to our society. Either way, you're going to have someone sell out to the other party for power and money. No matter what, money like that, power and money run the world. As America, and GBM says, as America and their presidents have so much influence at the rest of the world definitely have something to say. And that's true. That's true. I can't criticize that part, GBM, for sure. As being the top country in the world, you're going to have criticism from every country around the world. And that's why I don't, like, if you're for the agenda or against the agenda, I don't care. You know what I mean? I let everyone talk their shit here that wants to, that wants to get involved. So Ghost Eagle says, I am neither a Democrat nor a Republican. I'm American, and I vote for what I feel is best for my country. That's a very good thing to do. Don't just stick by a party, stick with the person and their policies. Steve says, I noticed that CNN and MSNBC like to push the racial division more than Fox. Yes, they do. But Fox also likes to kiss the Republicans' ass and is very biased as well. And yes, and that's something that I cannot stand, is when they're kissing the freaking Republicans' asses way too much. And it's way too evident. And same thing with the left. They do the same shit. You know what I mean? That's just being real. SNS says, unfortunately, the president really doesn't do much just as a head. It's more on the two houses that make the laws, which is the House of Representatives and, of course, Congress, that makes the laws. And any more, both sides are the same bird with a few different colored feathers. Dude, abso-freaking-lutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Thank you, SNS. People put too much on the president. He really doesn't have hardly any power alone. It takes other branches of government too. It takes a whole table of teams to deal with the United States. It's not one person making every single decision. It's definitely not happening like that. He's probably making a lot less decisions than the House of Representatives and Congress. Trust me. You know what I mean? That's where the decision making is. Harry says, this time around, I want to see our homeless taken care of, especially the veterans. I wholeheartedly concur with this statement. Real estate and grocery prices need to go down as well. It's damn near impossible to survive anymore. You're very, very right about that. Very right. I miss the old days when we could have an intelligent conversation with someone you disagree with. These days, it's impossible, and I hate it. Yes, people get into their fucking emotions and have the way they feel so much that they get so upset and cannot hold a conversation because there is no logic in there. It's full on just the way they feel. So anytime someone just feels something and you ask them about it or question them about it, they get defensive, get angry, and it's like a personal attack. Well, no, I'm just testing your logic. I want to see what you mean by this. I want to know what you mean by this. I'm asking because I want to know, not because I'm trying to push you. You know what I mean? But, a lot of people can't have those intelligent conversations anymore, just like you said, Steve. Americans have gone 100% tribal, and I don't see it getting better. Me neither. Road Rage says Kennedy was a Democrat hero and would be labeled as a right-wing extremist. You're very right about this. Totally different time periods, and the way that people would be considered a Republican are now Democrats, and Democrats that were Republican, now they're, whatever. It's very interesting how that works. Let's see, ostracized and called every name in the book if he ran today. The political parties have left the people behind. Absolutely, they have. Hardwire says, I am tired of spending billions and billions on other countries when we have so many issues that need to be solved here. That money we send off could do so much good here. Well, that's the thing. It doesn't make them money with that, and that's not a personal agreement that was made between countries to have forever protection, which I'm not going to name the state or the place, whatever it is, a state. And it's incredibly frustrating. I know what you mean, but to them, they don't have a contract with the American people. They have a contract with other outside entities. Let's just say that, because I don't want to get wiped off the face of the internet. You know what I mean? I'd rather keep my YouTube channel. But yeah, I got to know my limits. Steve says, I grew up with friends from all different political spectrums. We could be friends and agree to disagree, but you now are called a Nazi or a transphobic asshole. And that's realistically how it works. And it's really sad that we can't even have these conversations anymore. And this is something that I'm trying to teach my generation to be able to do. You know what I mean? I want people to be able to actually talk about their side and hold their side and debate it without getting into their emotions, like as if I'm personally attacking you. Ghost Eagle says, social media has destroyed our country for say. Since Obama, our aisle has been destroyed. People hate you for who you're labeled as, like Democrat or Republican. Family are torn apart because of it. Very much, dude. I've watched families where they don't talk to each other solely because one's liberal and one's Republican. Now they don't talk only because of that. Not because they're even disagreeing with a certain policy or any of that. It's because they labeled themselves. A man must know his limits. That's right, C. Ruger. I appreciate you, dog. Biden administration signed for more aid for, yeah, exactly, dude. I know. Did you know that under the Trump administration, the gun sales went up 12.5%? The murder rate was the highest since 1997. Drug-related deaths, highest since 2008. I would like to see the statistics on that before I even say anything. The thing is I know that the biggest amount of guns that were sold, I believe, was during the time that Obama was running the second time, I believe. And it was during the Obama administration when people were just clanging for their guns. You know what I mean? People were going out buying ammo. I was one of them buying, firearms, ammunition, getting ready because they were trying to, they were saying, we're going to take your guns essentially. So of course the American people are like, no, you're not. Holy cow. The left is supposed to be the accepting and loving ones, but you can't say anything to them. And they start screaming and wanting to jump people. It's nuts. Yep. How can you say that you are the loving and accepting ones when you can't even hear the opposition side? You know what I mean? You have to be able to listen to other people. What, you're only nice to me and I'm only nice to you when we agree on policies or on politics that you're a Democrat and I, whatever. Like, that's crazy to me. That's really crazy to me. Road Rage says, if the U.S. would stop playing world police, we wouldn't need to spend trillions on the military. Could wipe our debt and fix every single problem the country has. Bring all the troops home. There's a problem with now bringing all the troops home because now you're going to create voids in these areas, and then you're going to have different organizations such as like ISIS and all of that naturally fill the void. This is how it works, and this is why we do have people or different troops in different areas. That's exactly why, is to keep that, under control. So I'm not sure that doing a dramatic measure of bringing everybody home would solve the problem. I think that would probably cause some issues, but I get exactly what you're saying here. SNS, thank you, my man. I appreciate you throwing my Instagram in there. There's the hyperlink, guys. If you scroll up a little bit, SNS put my Instagram link. So if you click that, it goes exactly to my Instagram account. And please make sure you guys follow. I appreciate you guys. However, it's because they stay in their emotions. Facts, dude. Facts. Steve says everyone got strapped up when Obama was in. 100%. Yep, that's exactly what did happen. And I was one of them. You know what I mean? I think what happened in Ukraine is horrible, but not our place to sponsor them. Ding, ding, ding. I agree with what Matt Walsh says. And if a country can't defend and support itself, then maybe it shouldn't be a country. You know what I mean? Shit, I can't argue that. It would be very hard for someone to argue that. Steve says the left thinks we are evil, bad men, so that's how they justify treating us with violence and disdain. Yes, and that's exactly, you're very right about that. Just stop handing out billions to smug Europeans who hate us. That's a fact too, man. It's very brutal. So guys, I'm going to try to keep this obviously under a 1 hour for the replayability of this show. Please, guys, make sure if you guys enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and share this out with everybody. As I always say, liking the video is like handing a creator $5 for free. Remember that. It's free to like the video. If you guys comment, it also is a huge engagement spike for the channel as well. And if you share it, I'm telling you guys, it's like word of mouth on the street, but for the internet. And it really, really helps the channel. Also, guys, here's my Instagram right here. You guys can follow at BallValveTV. It's the same thing on TikTok. I don't use TikTok like that. I post everything onto Instagram. So that's where all my stuff is. Also, guys, last but not least, I am demonetized. The entire channel has been demonetized. If you guys would like to financially help out the show and get a shout out, whether it be off stream, if I receive a donation off stream, the very next stream, I will still give you guys a shout out for it. Here is my Cash App, $BallValve. And for Venmo, it's at BallValve. So I really appreciate every single one of you guys that have shown immense love and support to this channel, to what I'm doing and what I'm, doing here. It really means the world to me. And I really appreciate your guys' support. Even just you guys being in here means the world. You know what I mean? So I really want you guys to know that and understand it. Steve says, great conversation. Even if we don't agree, I appreciate it. Be safe and enjoy the day. Hey, my brother, I really appreciate you, my man. Thank you. I'm glad that we were able to all pitch in and talk about this. If you think you can trust the government, just ask us Native Americans. Look at what we go through. Yeah, you're very right about that. How could anybody, especially what the natives went through? You know what I mean? How could you trust the government when they totally fucked you over in the first place? I understand that. GBM says, go check out Donald Trump's history, his business methods, and ask yourself, is this really the man I want for president? And yeah, people do know about his history, you know what I mean? And some don't, obviously, but there's a lot of people that are actually very aware of that and just don't care. Did you call out the person that donated yesterday? Thank you, SNS. Yes, I did. In the very beginning of the show, I did shout out Tats for the $10 donation via PayPal, and also Hardwire 1%, who also donated $20 to the show via Cash App. So I really appreciate you guys that did that and are supporting the stream. This is what keeps this going. It's very hard being demonetized. It's very, very hard. Much love and God bless. May whatever God you believe in rain blessings upon you. Bring blessings upon you. Absolutely. He did earlier. Thank you, Brother Steve. I appreciate that. I was a few minutes late today. That's why I asked. No worries, SNS. I have no problem giving out a double shout out, letting people know, hey, this is the support that I'm receiving, and you guys should always know the support that I'm receiving. I'm all about transparency, guys. I'm always about being transparent and vigilant with you guys. Much love and respect to everybody. I see you guys in here. GBM and Biden is better in any way. He is a traitor and took money from other countries to influence policy. That's being a traitor to your country. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, Trump's family has been in politics for a very, very long time. That's very true. What's good, y'all? Gunpowder Nitro up in the building. He always shows up right when I'm closing out the show, man. I really appreciate you guys more than you guys know. Thank you guys again from the bottom of my heart. We're going to keep this under an hour. We're at 57 minutes and 22 seconds. So we're going to go ahead and play the channel song and end off for you guys. Much love and respect to everybody. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning. Much love and respect to everybody.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.